Hi, welcome to Force Trek. I'm Dade,
And I'm
being forced to watch Star Trek.
Shit.
Oh my god, did you just interrupt, you son of a bitch?
It's been a while.
How many episodes have we done? Are we not professional? We practiced.
We did practice. I'm a little sick. Forgive me. You want to take it from the top?
Yeah, you're one sick motherfucker. Yeah, we'll start again.
It's our Rated X
Hi,
episode.
welcome to Force Trek. I'm Dade, and I'm being forced to watch Star Trek.
And I'm Mars, and I'm being forced to make a podcast.
That was great.
That was great. The energy in the room.
And you know what's even better?
Hmm.
The episode we're talking about.
Oh, what a good episode. The Big Goodbye.
It's called The Big Goodbye. Which episode in number-wise is this?
I think technically this is 12. If you're going off of like most streaming services things.
12. All right. I love that number.
It's a good number. I actually was like, okay, so cards on the table. It's been a while since I've seen
My
this
first
episode.
kiss at 12.
I think I might have also. I had a kiss on the cheek. It was very wholesome.
I was making a joke. I didn't actually.
Oh.
I just wanted to say something about the number 12.
Well, I had a genuine anecdote.
I got my first kiss at 9, I think.
Tongue.
Tongue.
Jeez.
No, I'm kidding. Could you imagine the lore dump?
The Lord dump. No, so, yeah, The Big Goodbye. It's been a minute since we've seen this. At least since I've seen this episode. I don't know what Dade's been doing. But,
I've been digging through trash.
Digging through trash. We're on the Enterprise here hanging out, but Dade's going through all the trash cans.
They don't, there's a lot of condoms in these bins.
Yeah, you'd think that in the future we eliminated the need for condoms, but no.
Nope.
They just like it.
They just like the feel, I guess.
Like the feel.
Like raw dog it.
Let's talk about this episode.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So I'll give the quick summary this time around for the episode.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to take the weight off your shoulders. Please enjoy these nachos that we have here on the table that listeners cannot see, but is here.
Okay, thank you.
So anyway, the episode Picard bugs.
The cheese.
Oh, gross. So in this episode,
Okay, let's start for realsies.
we're silly today. We're silly.
I want to be a little silly.
A little silly today. So
Just like this episode.
just like this episode. Yeah, this
Hey,
is
Mars, can you explain this episode?
fucking trying.
What happens in The Big Goodbye?
So in this episode,
Isn't this the one where they're gangsters?
yes, it is. Well, not quite. So
And this is the 12th episode, right?
yeah. Do you have any more questions?
How's your day going?
It's all right.
Okay, continue.
Just seeing if you had any more.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
So this episode.
Continue.
God damn it.
Okay, for realsies, I'm about to put my feet up. I'm going to lay back, and I'm not going to say a thing.
Okay.
Continue.
So in this
Starting right now.
I fucking knew it. All right. Gonna give you a buffer.
I'm good.
So in this episode, just checking. Okay, so in this episode, Picard is gonna meet with these this race of aliens that are very elusive, and they killed the last people they met because they have a very like strict society, and he has to say this speech perfectly or they're gonna kill them all. But he's really stressed out, so he decides to go to the holodeck and pretend to be a little detective from one of his favorite old books. And then he invites all of his friends, and then the bugs get impatient, and they probe the ship, which fucks everything up, and then they get trapped on the holodeck, and then the bugs are really impatient because Picard isn't coming out to do this little speech. And then they're going to kill everyone. But then, after and also the safety stuff turns off on the holodeck, and it's really bad. And this dude that is just like a rando gets shot. He's like a rando from the actual crew who joined them on the holodeck, and he gets shot with a gun. So he's dying, and then they have to get the holodeck open and save everybody. And they do that by tricking these hologram mobsters into helping them open the door. I guess. And then Picard gives his fun speech, and then it's all good.
Did they really kill the first people?
Yeah, that's what it says in my notes, at least. And I'm
They
pretty,
they killed the alien race, killed the people that they offended.
yeah, the people offended them, yeah, and then they got killed.
They got killed.
Yeah, they're very. That's
Probably right though.
that's what the wiki says.
Oh, okay. I thought they were just gonna be like, we're never talking again if he like fucks us up. I didn't realize there was like a life or death.
Oh yeah, no. It was like these guys are gonna kill people. It's like a big
I'm like,
deal.
why would they even want to talk to these guys if they're gonna be bitches anyways?
Yeah, they're the Federation is like, oh, maybe we want to open up trades with the murder bugs.
The murder bugs that kill you if you say one word wrong.
And they apparently have a very complicated language also. We'll just get right into
Oh
it,
yeah,
honestly.
they're Picard is working on it with Bev, and it's a whole thing.
Oh, he's actually working on it with Deanna.
Well, you know what? You're gay.
Hell yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I sure give Deanna some to do this episode. She's helping.
hey, she had a great time last episode.
Yeah, she gets to take a break for the rest of the season.
Kick her feet up. She did her job.
We had a me episode, so I'm just gonna relax for the rest of these guys.
Where's Worf? You know, what's Worf pulling? What kind of weight is he doing?
I want a Worf episode.
I would love a Worf episode. I don't know if there's any this season, but I would love one.
Damn.
I don't remember legit. So stay. The night is young. Let's see. Yeah, it's a it's yeah. Deanna is like. There's like a cute moment that I never forgot from like the first time I watched this episode, where Picard is like, "What a strange language." And then Deanna's like, "Well, you spell knife with a K," and he goes, "I spell knife with an N, but I was never good at spelling." And it's like
Oh, that Picard.
it was this dry humor.
It's that really is the cover of Light Chuckle Weekly.
Yeah, that kind of sums up Picard's whole character, honestly, like his whole sense of humor in one sentence.
Tim, you probably felt like a genius for that one.
But I think
That's some real dad humor.
he doesn't even like kids, and he's mastering dad humor.
Maybe he'll be a little bit better than he thinks.
Maybe it's a hint,
Oh.
hint.
Beverly.
Schmeverly.
Shmeeroff.
Yeah, and this is when Deanna suggests, "Hey, we have this special little program for you. Do you wanna go hit the holodeck?" And he's like, "Okay, maybe." And he like
No.
he like kind of kicks his heels and runs away. And it's like I think the holodeck just got upgraded too, so it can do more stuff. I don't know.
So, like, how many years apart is the 1940s betwixt where the next generation is?
It's like, if I remember correctly, it's like 400, 300 years. Actually, no, it's like 400, 500 years.
Okay, that's not too bad. I always just kind of like to, because to me, when like shows, at least like 80s shows like this, do that, because when it came out in the 80s, that was a 40-year difference. Now it's it's a 40, so
Wait, is that not what you were
it'd
asking?
be an 80-year reference. No, I'm
Okay.
just doing the math in my head, because Saxon Hill or Dixon Hill or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
it's called,
Dixon Hill, you got it.
it takes place in the 40s, right? So it's now been 80 years since the 40s to now. And at the time when the show came out, it was a 40-year difference. And now it's a 500-year difference with Star Trek Next Generation.
I would fucking love an episode where they're like, oh, we're gonna go back to my favorite time in the 21st century, the mid 2010s.
Because like, because wouldn't it be the equivalent of somebody right now being like, I want to go back to my favorite time, uh, fucking when they were just getting to America.
Fucking Mesopotamia. Go back to the start of civilization.
Ah, yes, holodeck, load up the dinosaur times.
And that's the other thing too. They spit him out on a San Francisco street in like the 1940s. So there's like cars and stuff driving by, and he's like he almost gets fucking hit immediately by a car. But I guess they have safety stuff on, so he's like kind of would be fine. I guess if you get hit by a car, would be very funny to
Very
watch.
hilarious, just him getting fucking hit by a car.
Oh my god, Star Trek Jackass would be so funny.
I'm Picard, and you're watching Jackass.
I'm Commander Worf, and this is Jackass. And then they just like smash a chair on his back.
Okay, actually though, maybe when AI gets good enough, we could just make that episode.
Yeah, we'll just have it write us an episode. God, there's like Data. You could have Data do a bunch of shit.
All right, so what's next? He does he has his little funsies. Oh, doesn't he make out with like the lady kisses him in the holodeck in the Dixon Hill RP he's doing.
Yeah, there's like a lady who gives him a big fat smack. I think it's like kind of his secretary. No, it's not a secretary. It's like a lady who comes to ask for him for help, I think.
Yeah, for help. She's worried, and leaves a big old lipstick mark on his lip that the whole crew sees later on.
Yeah, and yeah, and it's like also like the fact that he's like in his normal outfit too, like this. He's like wearing his like captain's like uniform or whatever. He's not like dressed for the time period. This lady's just like, ooh, this man in his pajamas. Let me give him a big old smooch.
Especially, I forget. Do they comment about it in there, or are they just programmed to see him in a detective outfit in their minds? I forget if they had a line about it.
They do point it out. They say like, Dick's, cute funny outfit. Are you trying to be a bellboy? It's like
I guess that's probably like the closest thing you could imagine to that time,
Well, it's like, yeah. What would you say if you saw like a man in a onesie, walking around right now, and you didn't know about like Star Trek or whatever?
I imagine it'd be the equivalent of like if you saw your friend every day and they're a detective, and then you walked in one day and they looked like Ziggy Stardust. I'd imagine it would be pretty shocking and be like, "What the fuck are you wearing?"
Yeah, it'd be kind of like a costume party situation. I'd be like, well, where's the party?
What's going on? You didn't give me a heads up? I would have dressed up.
I would have backed you up.
So he enjoys it pretty well. Then he dips after a while. He's pleased as punch when he comes out of that holodeck.
Yeah, he's so fucking giddy because Picard's a huge nerd for Dixon Hill, but he's also a huge nerd for like the 20th century in general. So and the whole reason he gets out is because he has to do like this, like, big meeting about the bugs, like the situation, and like prep everybody. But before he does that, he's just got all of his like senior staff around, and he's like, and there were cars.
Oh my god, yeah. Hold on. Can we talk about the fact that he brought everyone from the bridge into a room to tell them about the holodeck?
He's so fucking. He's like it was so realistic.
Which, I kind of get it. I do the same when I explain the VR to people. I'm like, I was shooting a gun, but it wasn't actually me. It felt like I was there.
And I think also it's implied that Riker thinks that he had sex because there's a huge lipstick stain on Picard's face.
Oh yeah, while he's explaining this, like to all of them, they're all just kind of staring at him while he has that big old lipstick mark on his face, and he's sitting there like gushing about like, it felt like it was actually there. There was cars. I was in 1940s San Francisco, and just in their mind, they're like, he had sex, didn't he? He did some weird shit in there.
Oh. Yeah, no, and then Picard, Picard, while he's doing this, is like he's telling everybody that like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back with Mr. Whalen, who's a 20th century historian, and then he also goes like, oh, and also Beverly, if you want to go.
Beverly, if you'd like to go.
And then immediately Data's like, oh, detective story, you know, because we know he loves what's his name?
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he loves Sherlock Holmes, so Data's already in.
It's a cute little thing that that they kind of build that up and keep that with them,
That he loves like detectives.
which is especially funny because like Picard likes detectives, and like that's Picard's hyperfixation. Now Data's getting into it, but Picard's gatekeeping it.
Picard's gatekeeping. He wants to be Dixon Hill.
Exactly. Wasn't he like against Data joining? He's like, no, you can't join.
I I don't ever remember if Picard was like against
He was
Data.
kind of against it at first, and then Data like joined, and he's like, "All right, well, if you're coming."
And then I think Data's like he takes that as like a challenge. So he gets like really dressed up too.
Oh yeah, they get dressed to the nines.
I
It's pretty baller.
I love when Data commits to an outfit. Like when he does the Sherlock thing, he's like doing the voice, and this time he's like using the lingo, and he's all like he's got like a properly trimmed little suit for it.
Yeah, like he's like, "Hey, pops, hey, sugar mama."
Got it.
Oh, that Data.
Yeah, no, oh, you know what it is? It's Bev can't join them right away, so it's Data and Wayland first.
Well, wasn't like Beverly debating it because she wasn't like sure, and then
Because she wanted more of like
later
a
on,
date.
yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, screw it, I'm joining," and then she gets all like dressed up and shit and joins on in.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because she comes in the middle of like a problem, but before that, there's like a whole thing with like Wayland's like info dumping about all the stuff you need to know, and then Data is just I don't know being Data. I think people are constantly going like, what's up with your friend here? Why does he look like that?" And everybody just has to go like, "Oh, he's from South America."
Oh, you're jumping into them actually getting into
Well,
it.
yeah, that's what happens next. Is they go right in, and
Yeah. So like once they're finally all ready and shit, and Beverly shows up, they go in and they start talking to the locals like immediately. And that's the shit that they keep saying is that Data's from South America.
I love that there's like the logic of the show has to be like, oh, okay, well, so you know the holodeck characters in the fiction of the world wouldn't like they wouldn't like be aware that they're talking to not normal people. So they have to like kind of play dumb a little bit, but they also have to kind of ask questions. So there's like this funny thing where they're like, "Hey, why is he like that?" And they just give them like an easy answer, and they're like, "Okay, my programming's satisfied."
Okay, that's fair enough. You RP just enough to make me happy.
Yeah,
I like to imagine it's like that's their their same version as Fairly Odd Parents when they would say the internet.
that's yeah, that's what this is. It's just like them being like, "Well, it's
South
this."
America.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Very respectful.
So a little bit after that, don't they get brought into the slammer because Picard is being accused of murder.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're at like a newsstand, and then these two cops show up, and they like rough him up a little bit.
They're like, Dixon, you're in big trouble. Do you know anything about that murder with Mrs. What's Her Face? Mrs. What's Her Face is the lady who kissed Picard on the mouth.
Yeah, the lady who gave him the lipstick thing, and the whole time too, because in Picard's head, he's like in essentially like an escape room or like a game. So he's like not actually worried about being arrested. So he's like giddy. He's like loving being like grilled by the good cop bad cop vibe. He's like, ooh, and then what am I being accused of?
Yeah, and like one of the guys is supposedly one of Dixon's friends.
So sorry for that loud bang.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, Dixon. He's like, yeah, you want to get whiskey later? Come by the house.
It's very cute. Then eventually they bring them all down to the slammer, and everyone's just kind of fucking around the lobby while Picard gets grilled. And it's at this moment, I'm pretty sure, when shit kind of starts going wrong on the Enterprise.
I believe it's the bug people, the Harada. They like probe the ship with their probe, and it messes up the
They're
hull
pro.
with their probe, which messes up the holodeck. Which again, this is the first time that the holodeck gets messed up, but this is like it's so fucking dangerous to be in the holodeck. Like I would never want to go in the holodeck if I'm on like a starship that's like moving around. I'd be so
Yeah, that'd
scared.
be hella scary.
Well, just like imagine, because what happens is the probe goes off and then the safeties turn off. So now people are like in real danger, but they don't know that yet. And like,
It's kind of fucked up that their safety gets turned off, like locked inside.
yeah, it's not like the program did. It's like, oh, the safeties are off and nobody said anything. Should we turn off?
No, it's just mainly turn off the safety. People can die now, and we can't open the doors.
Yeah, these things are. Oh yeah, when the safeties are turned off, the doors lock. That's just a part of the programming.
Is who made this? The Tesla, am I right, guys?
Oh, topical.
Very topical.
Very topical, like an ointment. Um, yeah, they fucking get locked in, and Crusher. I forgot how Crusher gets in, but she like slips in just after or just before, and she's like, "What's going on, everybody?" And then everyone's like, "Oh, Picard got arrested," and she's like, "Oh, cool."
Well, that's fucking awesome.
Uh,
She's like, there's a very funny shot of her walking into the police station, and in the background you can see Data looking at like a something on the wall, and he's like fucking around with it. It looks like I don't know, like a newsstand or something, or like a newspaper or something.
God, there's so many good character moments in this show. This is like it's so weird because like you have the first I know we talk about this a lot, but you have the first like episode and it's like such a terrible representation of who these characters are, even by the 12th episode, you know, where it's like now it's like I feel like I know who Crusher is, and it's funny to watch her like try to wear heels for the first time or whatever, and she's like stumbling. Like that's fun because you know who she is. She's like a stern doctor. Or like it's fun to see Data doing like a fun accent because he's like normally he's a stern robot, but it's like
Well, he's more of a monotone robot. I wouldn't say he's
monotone.
stern.
Monotone. Thank you. That's a better way to say
He's very whimsical in nature, so it's just fun to see him having fun with the situation.
it.
It's very funny because Beverly also tries to like have fun, just do random shit, and she starts flirting with some dude while she's waiting,
That's
and
right.
it doesn't quite go too well because eventually he I don't know if he gets some leaves, but like some guy like walks over to another girl that's like right next to her, is like, "Come on, broad, let's go," and then she looks really displeased by that. And we had different interpretations of what this meant. I believe you thought that she was a prostitute.
Yeah, that was the vibe I got because she's like a pretty lady in a police lockup thing.
Yeah, because if I remember right, Beverly was kind of posing a bit, and then she kind of covers herself a bit up and acts a little less sexy after that. I personally read that as her like seeing how dudes talk to women during the time and being like, "Shit, why am I trying to flirt with these dudes? These guys fucking suck."
Yeah.
That's how I read it, but I think that's the fun part of that scene is that it can be interpreted either way.
Well, also it's kind of like because for me it's like it kind of depends on like what you're supposed to get at, like what you think you're getting out of that scene is like as like watching Bev's reactions and stuff. But for me, I got like she misread the situation wholeheartedly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where she's just like, haha, what a fun world, and then she like forgot about prostitution.
I mean, either way, it kind of comes down to the same thing we're both saying about her realizing, oh shit, this place is kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of fucked up, I was reading my notes and I was just reminded of one of my favorite Star Trek moments of all time. Somebody, I forget who, but somebody gives, I think it's the lady before she gets up to leave. She gives Beverly gum, or somebody does. And I guess in the future, they don't have chewing gum because she puts it in her mouth, chews it once or twice, and then swallows it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. She had like such like a grossed out face, like, ugh.
Ooh, ooh, gross. Like, you weren't supposed to eat it.
Like she immediately realized too that it was bad, which is extra funny. Just imagining someone from the future being like, "Shit, why does this taste so weird going down?"
Yeah, and then also seconds later, too, Picard is like offered a cigarette by his friend as he walks out of lockup, and he also doesn't know how to smoke. So Picard is like hacking and coughing while Bev is swallowing gum.
They all look like dorks. It's so funny. It's
Huge
so fucking
dorks.
funny. I don't know if I really said it. I really liked this episode. The previous episode and this one have been like the best ones.
These feel so out of place in season one. Like these last two episodes, these feel like way later episodes because it's just everybody's like themselves, and the writing is so fun, and like the jokes are funny.
Yeah, they don't have to write fucking boring episodes.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we can also put drama in these episodes if we want. Like we can just have fun with it.
We can actually like put them in funny ass situations. We don't have to be so dead fucking serious all the time.
Yeah, especially fucking. It's even see like you could even have fun with Picard too. Like, cause he's such a dork, and his favorite thing is to dress up like a little detective with all of his friends, and like, I think that's so great. I think that's such a good like Kirk wouldn't do that. Kirk wouldn't dress up as a detective to go solve mysteries with his friends. He'd like go have sex with people and fight things.
Oh, I've maintained that Picard is a comedy character since episode one. He's such a fucking weirdo, dude.
He has great lines in some episodes, but these early episodes, he's such a fucking he's like he might as well be a Vulcan. He's so weird.
He's weird, but he's not too bad. But I get what you mean. I here's the thing: is that like early on, when Picard's being funny, it feels definitely less like the writers intended that to be the case, and more of just with aging of the show and seeing how weird it is out of context, how he acts makes it extra funny. But like these episodes, they're actually playing that to the advantage of him, and it's really refreshing to see them actually push the characters in like their best directions possible.
Yeah, everyone is doing great, especially also Bev. Bev is so good in this episode because she's just like she just wants to get with Picard. It's that simple, and she's just trying to like have fun with him.
It is pretty nice to actually see her like chilling, having fun with everyone, and being a part of the thing, and it also not being a her worrying about Wesley or even Wesley being mentioned at all.
Or her like freezing to death with Picard. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
something
It's just
sad.
her kind of having fun.
Which also speaking of which, um, while all this is going on, while they get locked in the holodeck, I think this is a big episode for Wesley because he gets to help. Like I think he gets to help Geordi like get the door open, and it's like a whole side plot. It's not a big deal or interesting.
Plot, quote unquote plot.
Quote, it's this is one of those episodes where it's like there's the quote unquote B plot where like nothing happens, and then
Is
there's
it a plot though? Because all it really happens is they just cut back to them and like, we're working on it, we're trying,
I mean
and
yeah
then when they're done with that, they go back to the fucking mafia stuff.
yeah that's
Or
pretty that's pretty much yeah. I guess there is just one plot in this episode. Maybe that's why it's so good. There's no jumping back and forth. It's all the good stuff.
it's all the good shit. Like they cut just to show, hey, we are working on it, but then they go back to the funny stuff.
Which, speaking of funny stuff, right after that whole sequence with them in the jail, they go back over to Picard's office, and this dude named Leech, I think is his name, pulls a gun out on them, and they're all like, "Ha ha ha! We have a gun being pulled on us." And then the guy is like, "I'll do it. I'll shoot one of you. I swear." And they're like, "Ha ha ha! Yeah, do it, ha ha." And then he does. He shoots the Mr. Whalen, the
The
20th century.
non-important
Yeah,
guy.
the non important guy who knows 20th century history. He gets fucking shot, and he goes down hard, and
Murph.
he's like bleeding, and he's like, oh my god, it's it. I'm not supposed to die this way. And then Picard just goes, oh my god, and he just walks over and he fucking like open hand slaps the dude with the gun.
Which he deserves it.
100%. And he's like, "You'll pay for this," and he like runs away.
Like a little bitch.
Um,
I love the way they're all just laughing like, go for it. We would love to see it. And then the way he drops.
it just he's like, "Oh, that's not very funny."
That's not funny.
Um, which also is immediately followed by a funny scene with Data, where Data goes to he's like gonna get Light to help. This is like after like something happens back on the ship. I forget what it is, but there's a little bit of time, and then they go back, and then Data's like, "Oh, I need some light over here." So Data picks up a lamp, and he goes to walk over to Bev, and it's this is so stupid. It like unplugs from the wall, and it turns off, and he's like, "Oh, it must be broken." That's so weird. And he's like fiddling with it, and then Picard just goes, "Oh my god!" And he walks over and plugs the plug into a different plug, and then Data just goes, "Oh, I got it working," and just brings it over. It's just such a good like, and you know, this is something I wanted to say. Brent Spiner is like he's known for being like a comedy actor before he did Data.
Who?
Brent Spiner. Okay, so Brent Spiner's Data, I should say. Sorry, thank you. I forgot. I nerded out for a second.
Sorry, I geeked everywhere.
I got geek everywhere, guys. Yeah, Brent Spiner, who plays Data, was like a comedy character for everything. So when like, people were like, "Oh, he's gonna be on the show," everybody was like, "Oh, really? That guy?" And it's like, I don't know, man. Brent, I can't imagine this show without his comedy. He's so fucking.
It suck.
It would because he's like a really good emotional character, but then also every time he makes a joke, it lands every time. It's so funny.
I feel like he, out of all the people, knew to kind of play up the comedy a bit, even from the start. Like even the earliest Data scenes, he kind of plays it a bit more for laughs, and I think it really lands.
Yeah.
I think the show is like should be an entire comedy, but holy smokes, it's so much more enjoyable when it is.
Well, it's a clever comedy too. It's like kind of timeless. Like you forget it's a show that was made in the 80s.
You say that, I do not agree.
I forget all the time. I forget all the time it's a show made in the 80s.
It is scaringly apparent for me in a lot of episodes. The most recent ones have been really good though.
Yeah,
Can't praise these recent ones enough.
these recent ones definitely feel like they're not from the 80s to me. Um
I'd say they're good.
I think they're good too. Why are you laughing?
Nothing. But yeah, Data, that scene with him with the lamp, I think is especially funny too because it also reveals that I guess cords and outlets aren't a thing.
Yeah, that's the other. Yeah, how is like all of you know what? Actually, that's a great question. Like they have
I'm assuming that there has to be no plugs,
none.
no outlets, and no cords because wouldn't Data know about that? Like,
So is
because,
everything battery powered or like just remotely powered somehow?
everything Bluetooth, it's being charged Bluetooth somehow.
Yeah, you just like because everybody has like lamps and pervy hologram projectors and
Oh, I got it.
what's up?
It's you know how there's those things where it's kind of like a little plate for your phone, and when you put your phone on it, it charges it.
Mm-hmm.
The entire bottom of the Enterprise is just one of those.
It's a
It
disc
just
shape.
powers. Yeah, it just powers everything above it.
Engineering deck. I need you to turn back on the power. My Galaxy S3 is not charging.
Please.
Oh my god.
I need
the
to send a meme to Bev.
The ship is called the Galaxy class.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All that Android fan who that Android user who loves Star Trek. just slapped their knee when you said that.
That probably upsetting crossover of huge Android fans and huge Star Trek fans.
They just milk shot out from their nose when you said that.
I'm glad it was their nose.
What?
So
What else?
yeah, then
Continue.
Red Block shows up. Red Block is the like I guess the a villain or the main
He's
villain.
the big
He's the
cheese.
big cheese. He's a big mafia dude. And he shows up with Leech and he's like, "Hey, I'm Red Block. Give
You
me
just slapped my working boy.
slap my boy." Also, he is they keep referring to this thing called the object, which I have no idea what it is. I don't think they know either. Um, they're just like, he has the object, and we have to get it from him. Oh wait, boop. What is it? What is the?
I don't remember
I don't
at
fucking.
all.
I don't fucking
I know, yeah,
remember.
it sounds familiar. You said it, but I can't remember it at all.
I was trying to. I thought I might have had it on the tip of my tongue. Yeah. They want something. And so Red Block's like willing to kill someone else, basically, and Leech is holding his gun like a nerd, and everybody's really stressed out about it. Which I don't understand why Data isn't doing anything, because Data's like a robot, and bullets wouldn't do anything to him.
Yeah, you would think, right? Like, or can he feel it?
Well, he's like, I don't know. I think he'd be fine, personally. I think Data. Well, that's an interesting question. Does Data feel like bullets and knives and stuff? That'd be really fucked up,
Hmm.
actually.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fucked up. Just to assume that like he would be fine with it, and then he feels every bullet that hits him.
I've never been shot before. Let's try it. I should be okay. I'm made of titanium. And they shoot. He just like Family Guy falls to the ground. Oh,
Just immediately, just silently falls.
oh, God. He dies instantly.
Erm.
It's a series wrap on Data.
But I still feel like Data could have moved fast enough, and he's like strong enough that you like killed those guys. That's the thing that kind of stops me a little bit. I'm like, why don't they just kill these guys? You know, because like it's not like they need to be alive. They're just .exes. You know.
Yeah, they're just. Well, that's the other thing, too, is Wesley stresses that, like, oh, if I fuck up, everyone could die. Like, if we do this wrong, the holodeck turns off. Because that's the stress, is they can't just turn the holodeck off. Because everyone will dematerialize with it, I guess.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah,
Dangerous
that's what we're
technology.
going with.
There's children on this ship who can use the
Lots
holodeck.
of them. Many of them.
Families. Imagine if you were like, yeah, my mom got dematerialized in the holodeck.
The holodeck froze and they turned it off. She dematerialized it. It's a huge bummer.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a really fucked up thought. Imagine you're like, it just reboots on you or something, and you're just dead forever.
Think about how many times in the show like something has gone wrong on the Enterprise, like on the regular, and and you're telling me that not once there's ever been something where it fucked up the Enterprise and the holodeck like turned off for like a split second and killed someone while they're in there.
Le- Legit though, like,
Oh no, I'm being serious. Like
no, no,
imagine
no, no.
someone fucking in there and like an EMP hits the Enterprise for a second. Dead. Everyone in the holodeck dead.
Just imagine like, just imagine you're like, how do you explain that to somebody's kids? You know,
Well,
your mom was skiing down Mount Everest in a program and the safeties turned off and she crashed into a wall. Like, what the fuck? What? That's so dangerous. I would never get in a holodeck ever in a million. I would only go to like the Pillow Planet or something. I could,
hello planet.
it's fucked up.
I don't want a door near me at all times.
Yeah, yeah.
Door
Oh,
in eyesight.
I leave the holodeck arch open at all times. I'm sorry if the snow gets on the floor. I'll clean it up later.
I don't give a shit. I'll grab the mop or the broom and I'll sweep it. But I don't want to fucking die.
Well, actually, there's an episode where Picard's upset that Wesley's like, it's like the first episode where he's dripping wet. And that kind of makes sense because the Isn't the whole Enterprise like carpeted? So it would kind of suck. You'd have to get like a steam cleaner or something.
I kind of hate that the Enterprise is. I know a lot of people like how the TNG Enterprise like hallways look. It looks really weird to me.
How so?
It looks super uncomfortable. I hate that it's carpet floors. First off, it makes it feel so gross.
It's like more of like a
You can
cruise
imagine
ship.
stain getting in there.
Well, you know, it's the future. Maybe they have like future stain remover.
I know. I don't like the idea of thinking thinking of like walking through a carpeted Enterprise. It feels weird.
You know,
It's something I noticed too with 60 Star Trek
hmm,
versus TNG Star Trek in terms of the interior of the ships.
what?
Is that the 60, and I'm sure this is no coincidence at all, but 60 Star Trek interior really looks like a 60s office always, and the fucking TNG looks like 80s office always.
I mean, this is a show built like designed by nerds. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, well, the office I work at is great. I love it. I'm gonna put that in my set design.
Well, it just makes it extra funny because it really emphasizes the fact that these are just like office workers on the Enterprise. Technically, everyone's just doing their daily jobs.
Well, yeah, that's kind of true. It's like these guys aren't like military, so it makes sense if like the ship is kind of like a big like it's like a hotel
They
convention center.
literally wear suits, basically, like
Yeah.
future suits.
Man, are these guys just business people that explore space?
Pretty much, that's what it feels like. That's always how I've kind of seen it from that perspective.
Well, they
Is
definitely
that
don't spell it
they're
out
less
for you.
explorers. Yeah, yeah, because they're kind of pussies.
Well, they're like expecting you to have watched the original series and the movies to just know what the Federation is. But if you're like a first time viewer and you've never seen Star Trek, they don't tell you what the Federation is at all. Like they kind of talk about it sometimes, but it's like, are they military? But there's kids. They explore, but they have guns. Like,
Who is this Federation?
who are they?
Hey, we're getting sidetracked. Let's get back on to business.
So the situation's getting pretty bad. I should also mention there's like a little scene with Riker where he answers the phone and the bug people are like, "Oh, this subordinate is talking to us. Gross. We're really pissed off now. We're gonna kill you." And he's like, "Oh, hold on, let me get my boss." And they're like, "Okay."
Oh, can I mention too that fucking isn't it on the phone? They're like, we're talking to you in like your language, and they're like they say it really fucking mad, like fucking pissed that they even have to talk like them. It's so funny.
Well, it's like you know what I just realized? There's translators. So is it just that the aliens don't like when our words come through the translator?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe it's just more of like a respect thing. Like I want you to talk to us in our language.
Well, maybe because they're like really stingy about that stuff.
Yeah, because after that, after he does the speech, they talk just fine. But it just seems kind of more of like a respect thing. Like you have to talk in our language, or we hate you and you're stinky.
Yeah, it's
This is just a plot point they wanted. They thought it'd
yeah.
be funny if there was aliens who wanted them to speak really
Well,
weird.
I was just think the reason I laughed is 'cause I was just thinking about like how kind of like they're like it's such a huge deal, but they really what are they even doing? Like, do they have like something special that the Federation wants? Or are they just around? Is the Federation just like, Picard can get it right. Let's get him.
I guess so. Maybe they're just fucking with Picard, being like, "Yeah, the last people died. You better make sure this one, you do this one right."
But yeah,
They're just like getting him stressed about nothing. Like the aliens would have worked with them either way if he fucked it up. But
but his body's been stolen too much this week, so they have to punish him somehow.
exactly, they're like, maybe this will make you focus and try a little bit harder this time,
Yeah,
Picard.
maybe an energy being won't steal your body. All right. Or a fucking Ferengi circle makes you go crazy and crash the ship.
Picard gets captured internally like every other week.
Yeah, I wear a tinfoil hat if I lived on the Enterprise. Um,
Where were we during this episode? What are we doing at the moment?
what do you mean?
Like where what's happening in the plot?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like us. Where were we on the ship?
What is this? What's happening?
No, like where were we on the ship while this episode was happening?
Oh no. I just mean like uh they talk a bunch and
Yeah,
then
there's a lot of
eventually
talking.
they get the drop on the gangsters or whatever.
Well, yeah. So what they do is that the guy's name is Cyrus Redblock, the big mobster. They like it basically explained to him the concept of the holodeck, and he's like, "Oh, interesting, the holodeck." And he kind of like, he's a holodeck creation, but he's a holodeck creation who is programmed to act like a 1940s mobster who is now understanding that he is a program in a software, and so it's the software realizing it's software, or at least simulating it's realizing it's software, and then. Uh, I think that just I don't forget what catches them off guard. Oh, that's what it is. Cyrus is like, okay, well I'm gonna leave the holodeck then, because they get the door open, but they still have the gun trained on them, so they can't just like, you know, beam them out or something. So Cyrus like walks out of the holodeck and he's like,
Wait, but something happens before that.
is that not after?
I'm pretty sure the frozen thing is before.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You want to talk about that? Because I totally forgot.
Yeah. So uh shit happens. Data tells them about that and they're like, what? That's not true. And they're like, well, if this is a simulation, you won't mind if we shoot her. And like they have a gun next to Bev, and they're like trying really hard to get them to believe that this is a simulation. And then meanwhile on the outside, Wesley changes something to the program, and then they get sent to a frozen wasteland for like 5 seconds,
But
like
it's
5 to 6 seconds, which just instantly teleported. Everyone where they're standing is just instantly teleported to a frozen wasteland.
including
For
the
10
mobsters.
Yeah, that's what I mean, including the mobsters, for 5 seconds, and then they're immediately back in the office. And the mobster's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah, that's why he believes him. He's like, oh okay, now I have to believe you.
Yeah, he's like, "There's no like, how'd you do that? Like, what the fuck?"
And that's what's so fun about this episode again, is there's like it's like in universe comedy like that where it's like he's like, I don't believe you. Like storming, I believe you.
Okay, I think you have a point.
You make a great point.
And when does Data beat up the one guy?
So Cyrus leaves the thing and he like him and his it's him and Leech leave while the other guy is like holding it down because Cyrus is like, I can pillage this new world and all its technologies and stuff. I'm a genius. I can really make it out here. And then immediately he starts to fade away, but he's also aware that he's fading away, which is kind of fucked up if you think about it. And then 2 seconds later, Data's like, well, your boss just died, and just like punches the other guy who's holding them up.
Which is funny because couldn't Data have done that the whole time?
Yeah, 100%. Data could have taken everyone on. Also, I forgot to mention, in this, at some point, Picard's cop friend from earlier comes to the office with some whiskey, and he's like going to talk to him, but then he gets caught up in the drama. So he's being held up too with them.
Oh yeah, he was there that whole time.
Which is like,
Then,
he's so forgettable.
yeah, I honestly thought that was at the end because he doesn't really say anything notable up until like it's just him and Picard.
Yeah.
And he's like, "So is this true? Like when I go home, will I really go get to see my wife and kids, or the second you walk out of that door, do I cease to exist?"
Yeah, and then Picard's just like, yeah, you'll stop existing. Or like he's like, I don't know. I think he says something like that.
Yeah, he kind of gives an honest but tries to be comforting answer, and it's kind of awkward and not really that comforting for the guy. But
Yeah.
Picard doesn't give a shit because he kind of realizes I'm talking to a computer program that is is not going to become sentient anytime soon, and just leaves.
Yeah, he just like, and the guy just like, he's just left in terror. He's just so confused. He's like, oh, oh God, am I gonna disappear? Like, where's my wife and kids? Oh my God! And then Picard leaves.
It doesn't give a shit. He just leaves, and all those people disappear.
Yep. And then he also doesn't have time to change, so he's wearing his little cute Dixon Hill suit, and he
Like the
goes
world,
is adorable. He loosened his tie a little bit. Um,
just precious.
yeah, I think he's even cocky. Like he gets on the bridge, he like throws his hat on his chair, and he goes like, "All right, do it, go it," and then he recites it. He does like the goofy like bash claw clee claw clee claw, whatever the thing he has to say is. It's like something like that. And then the aliens are
I
like,
can't believe you'd say that.
"Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know their language very well.
That's really fucked up.
I hope no Haradans are listening."
Oh, if they have clicked off already before we could get this apology out.
Yeah.
They're
Oh
probably on their way to kill you.
yeah. Hey, what's that? What's that light outside? Oh God,
Mars, no, get away!
it's a starship. Whoa, cool aliens.
Mars, no!
Whoa, that's me getting
If only
vaporized.
we had time to tell her.
She had her AirPods out. She had her AirPods out.
And yeah, he doesn't. And then everyone clapped.
Yep, and everyone claps. Also, yeah, everyone else is in the outfits too when they get on the deck to join him.
Yeah, I love because they're in such a fucking hurry. They don't like stop to go get dressed or change. It's so funny that they're just like balls to the walls, just walks and he's like, "All right, call him. I'm ready."
Yeah, and then Data not understanding playtime's over. He's like still doing the bit. He's still doing the voice and everything, and then Picard has to go like, "Hey, Data, knock it off."
Data, shut the fuck up.
That's that episode. I thought that was a great episode. I think that episode is like, it's honestly like one of my favorites from the season. I think these
I
last
really
two.
enjoyed it. I would have to agree. These last two ones have been amazing. Probably some of my favorite episodes. No, actually, not probably. They are my favorite episodes so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what would be your favorite?
I guess the only other one I could remember would be Justice. I really liked the psychological, or not psychological, but the philosophic like questions and stuff they had with the Federation and everything in that one. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, if you've never seen Star Trek, watch these two episodes back to back. Watch Haven and The Big Goodbye, and if you like that, commit because you like Star Trek. Because this is a pretty good like you get a good sense of the characters, you get a good sense of like the kind of storytelling that they can do, and it's like fun and light, and you know you don't feel like huge. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, Star Trek, that's like heavy nerd stuff, which isn't true.
Yeah, no, not at all. This is not a highbrow show at all.
No, I mean it's highbrow.
Completely stupid.
It's highbrow. Some
Very dumb.
Shut up.
Very dumb. I can't overstate that.
If you're somebody watching this season for the first time and you've seen no other Star Trek, yeah, I can see that.
I'd say Seinfeld is probably makes you think more than this show so far. You know, this show would probably be pretty highbrow for people who struggle to put circles in square holes.
If you know,
If you just got done eating glue paste, I think you're really going to like this show.
this post was written by the only seen the first 12 episodes gang.
I can't wait to get my mind expanded in these future episodes. I hope it's true.
Well, Hotshot, what do you want to rate this episode?
Well, since we are swapping around, I will do my review and rate first. I say overall, I really like this episode. I think Star Trek, at least the Next Generation so far, is at its best when it's playing to its comedy strengths, which is very, very good in this episode. And loved it a lot. I mean, there's not much to say. It was just an enjoyable, funny episode. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10.
Who's your? I'll put this one out. Aside from Data, because it's gonna be Data if I ask this question. Who is your favorite character this episode?
I don't know if I would have said Data. I do like Data, but
I have to kind of I have to kind of
he
X
is
out
the
Data.
yeah. He's just too easy. I would say maybe. I really liked Beverly in this episode. I feel like she had some really good moments, and I love seeing those funny moments with her. 'Cause she's much more of a serious character usually.
Yeah, her eating that gum was hands down like the best moment for me. Just watching like a woman who probably has like multiple PhDs, he just like look at some gum and go, and then swallow it.
I get it though.
Hey, it's been fucking like 600 years or whatever, so who knows? And there was like a nuclear war in between then and now.
It is kind of funny to think, though, in the future we have not had anything equivalent to a gum where we chew it.
Not even like other cultures that she's dealt with.
Yeah, no, this is just completely foreign.
Also, if I was like in public and someone was like, "Here, try this," I wouldn't just swallow it.
Well, maybe it's a simulation, so she just assumed with the safety protocols and whatnot.
That's true. It's got.
Hey, so what do you think about this episode, and what would you rate it?
I thought this episode was great. I think this is like one of the best episodes of this. I still think Haven is better personally, the one just before this.
Oh, okay.
Because of the dinner scene fight is so funny. I love this episode though. I think this is probably gonna get an 8 out of 10 from me.
8 out of 10?
I want to save my 10 out of 10s and my 9 out of 10s.
Okay.
This is an 8 out of 10. It's a great episode. It's like I didn't remember it super well, to be honest. But it is like riding a bike. Like the second I start talking about it, it all kind of comes back to me.
I do agree that I think Haven's better.
I mean, I wouldn't.
If I didn't give that one a 9 out of 10, I'm giving it 1 now.
Yeah, that one's fantastic.
That one's aged the more I think about it.
It's a fine wine. Yeah, this episode I give it an 8 out of 10. Very respectful. I think it's a great episode. I love holodeck episodes. They're some of the best ones. I love watching Data get to dress up. And I'll say my favorite character is probably also Bev. I thought Bev was great.
She had some real standout moments this episode.
Great outfit too. She looks awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I loved when Bev and Picard were like, puppy dog eyeing each other. Like they were mad into the outfits. They're like, damn.
Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah, you can like when they first saw each other, like, sheesh.
Good. Hey guys, we should go. You guys want us? Do you want us to give you some room?
Yeah, they kind of forgot everyone else was there for a second. They're just like so into it.
Yeah, I think I wrote in my notes. I didn't bring this up because I didn't think it was that funny at the time. But in my notes, I wrote like Bev and him are talking, and in the background you can just see really blurry Mr. Whalen, the dude who like they invited with them, and he's just
the historian.
Yeah, the historian guy. He's just like kicking his feet and like walking around, or maybe he's like staring at like a light bulb or something. He's like absolutely like blown away.
Yeah, that's a good episode. Can't wait to see more like this, Star Trek. Keep it up. Good streak so far.
Good stuff, Star Trek.
And it's also good? Our phasers.
Our phasers?
The settings they have on them.
What kind of settings?
Well, here there's kill. The next one is peanut butter. This one's stun.
What's that last one?
That last one? That one's goodbye.
Oh my god!